Do you know why a former Jedi who survived Order 66 traded the Order's codex for a hunt across 2 galaxies, and why he walks away from the pupil who would become his successor? Wait until the end to find out what Baylan Skoll is really searching for on Peridea, and why that search will change the fate of more than one lost Jedi. Baylan Skoll is a veteran of a vanished age, a former Jedi General who learned the galaxy's bitter lesson in blood, and now pursues something older than empires. On Sith, he meets an old friend turned foe, and ends a duel in a way no one expected. On Peridea, he stands before the ruin of the Ones, and the man he hoped to meet. This is a walk through a fallen knight's choices, the mentor who becomes monster, and the fracture that follows when destiny and ambition collide. Baylan Skoll begins the story as a name in the archives, a Jedi Knight who rose to become a Jedi General during the Clone Wars. He survived Order 66, vanished from the Order's watch, and resurfaced decades later as a mercenary lord. That transition, Jedi to Wanderer to dark-tipped mercenary, matters. Skoll still moves like a Jedi in combat and thought, but his philosophy has shifted. He no longer believes the old order can save the galaxy. Instead, he looks for a new calibration of power, one that he thinks will not repeat the Jedi's failures. If Skoll still fights with Jedi skill, what broke him so thoroughly he would kneel to no master but his own will? The hunt that drags Skoll into the open begins with Morgan Elsbeth's plan to find Thrawn. Skoll and his apprentice, Shin Hati, intercept Ahsoka Tano and Sabine Wren on Sith. Skoll's confrontation with Ahsoka is not a random clash. It's a collision between 2 legacies. The veteran who turned his fate into a doctrine, and the pupil who still strives to hold something of the Order's spirit. On Sith, the duel is surgical and telling. Skoll fights with long, 2-handed strikes, glass-hard control, and telekinetic brutality. Ahsoka fights with the acrobatics and heart of her training. The 2 are evenly matched, up to a point. In the fight, Skoll creates openings with kinetic throws and pressure that force Ahsoka into a desperate choice to protect the map and her allies. He lands a decisive blow. She is thrown into the abyss of the sea storm, into the very crack between times. That fall strands Ahsoka in the world between worlds, where she encounters echoes beyond ordinary space. The duel ends not merely with a winner, but with Ahsoka pulled from ordinary consequence, and Skoll left to continue the hunt. This moment remakes the stakes. Skoll can kill, but he also knows limits, and he regards Ahsoka with a kind of grim respect. Skoll's objective is the map, a device that points to Peridea, a place the Jedi once called Myth. Sabine Wren, who came to Sith for the map, surrendered and was brought aboard the Eye of Sion. Skoll treats her not as a trophy, but as a tool, a hostage whose knowledge and presence will open doors to Thrawn. He promises her certain protections, then does what mercenaries do: move the pieces. Sabine is presented before Thrawn on Peridea. Baylan does not outwardly revel in cruelty. He uses leverage, cold, purposeful, and keeps Sabine alive because she is the key for Thrawn, not the price for Baylan. If you're enjoying this breakdown, subscribe and join the archives. It means a lot to the channel. Peridea is the ancient locus Skoll sought, a graveyard for Purrgil and a ruin threaded with the old Force. He steps from the Eye of Sion into a landscape that confirms the legends Skoll remembered from the Jedi archives. There, Thrawn awaits, but the relationship is transactional, not spiritual. Thrawn is a strategist who recognises Skoll's utility. Skoll is a seeker, more interested in the planet's resonance than in the Imperial plans. The rituals and the Great Mothers provide cover. The map points them to a place beyond even Thrawn's stratagems. If Peridea holds an answer to an older pattern, what does Skoll think that answer will give him? A new order, or the power to remake the old ones? Shin Hati arrives as an apprentice hungry for glory, but the Peridea expedition fractures the student-master bond. Hati yearns for the Empire's tangible ascent and for the immediacy of victory, while Skoll seeks something quieter, more absolute, a communion with the deep force currents that the Jedi forgot. On Peridea, they part ways. Hati chooses the path of ambition aimed outward. Coordinates are transmitted and she becomes a tool for Thrawn and those who would remake the galaxy with force. Skoll chooses inward, the search for a fate he believes lurks among ruins and monuments. Their split is not betrayal in a simple sense. It is a diverging hunger of two souls, trained the same way but wanting different ends. Skoll's final camera beat on Peridea is iconic. He stands before a statue of the Ones, the father, the son and the daughter, the same figures whose myth haunts Jedi lore. He gazes toward a flicker on a distant peak, pointing like a lantern to the thing he seeks. He is not triumphant, nor is he defeated. He is patient. The camera reads his face. He has not sought glory or revenge. He has pursued a thread that he believes predates the Jedi and perhaps can outlast empires. What he will do with the knowledge, and what it will cost him, is the question the series closes around him with. He found the monument, the map and the man, but did he find what he set out to become? Baylan Skoll's story is not an origin story reduced to turn dark. It's a philosophical trajectory, a veteran who saw institutions fail and concluded that preservation of an order is not enough. It must be remade. He is not merely angry, he is methodical. He values history, the precise chord of power buried under myth. He recruits followers, takes prisoners as means, and chooses pupils who admire the utility of pain and practice. His fight with Ahsoka shows not blind fury, but a deliberate testing. If the old lights still have life, can they be bent toward a new purpose? His path through Peridea shows he seeks a root, a foundation for a new structure of power, rather than a throne. In short, Skoll wants control of destiny, but he wants it through knowledge and sights of power, not through purely political conquest. That is what makes him dangerous, and what separates him from a purely imperial ideology. Skoll's arc reframes the post-imperial era. He is a living example of how the Force's survivors can take divergent routes, reclamation, redemption, or reordering. The choices Skoll makes ripple. Sabine's captivity costs her dearly. Hati's allegiance reshapes a budding regime. And Ahsoka's fall into a world between worlds seeds future returns. For the galaxy, Skoll is a warning. The fall of institutions does not end ideology, it only reroutes it into private doctrines and secret missions. In Ahsoka Season 2, it is likely that we will see a conclusion to Baylan's story, and we will find out what exactly is waiting for him by the statue of the Ones. Baylan Skoll is neither monster nor saint. He is a survivor who learned to read ruins as scripture and bend living wills into the scaffolding of a new fate. He stands as proof that the best way to bury an old order is sometimes to become a new kind of teacher, one who trains pupils to love power instead of wisdom. If you are enjoying these videos, consider becoming a channel member and let's uncover the galaxy's greatest secrets together. Thanks for watching.